A premium account on X is required to start. What? So that's why we've been
The national champion is clad in big orange. The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. The national champion is clad in big orange.
Pat Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
Tennessee Volunteers have wrapped up an SEC outright regular season title. Connect.
The SEC runs through Rocky Top. Tennessee wins the SEC regular season crown for the second consecutive season.
The 1-0. Indiana, right center field. Rock's on the move. Rock get there. Tennessee walks it off. It's a misstep. Deep range. Come on now. Man, don't connect. Robbie Draghi this time. Indeed. New hand there. Down the middle. Got it. On the fly. It's high and again. And he's going to take it. Touchdown, Tennessee.
Hey, how much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football and it's absolute best.
It's college athletics. It's absolute best, man. Welcome in to another episode of the Vol Fanatics Show. I'm Michael with my co-host Skylar. Skylar, man, how are we doing tonight on this Thursday night, July the 24th? What, 35 days away from Tennessee football?
You can almost smell it in the air, big dog, except it's too daggum hot right now. It's going to have to cool down just a little bit, but I tell you what, fall camp starting up next week. We are within, I think, like 6 days of opening day of practice here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Got a lot to talk about, a lot of headlines, but today we got 3 big things to talk about, and we will dip just a little bit into the Boo Carter situation, but we're not going to make that a whole segment as we got a lot more important things to talk about with folks that actually want to be here, and that is the tight ends. We're going to talk about the tight ends room in segment 1. Michael, I'm going to kind of do your little spiel, I guess, the rundown.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good.
All right with you? So
Yeah.
in segment 1, we're going to do the tight ends, and then in segment 2 and 3, we are going to do preview or season predictions for Auburn and then Missouri. So that's what we got on the docket, Michael. But man, how are you doing? How is your life in the personal world the last week?
You know what? It's been great. Family is doing fantastic. Little man is growing up. Seems like every single day.
I like to hear.
He's probably 2 months away from starting his podcast debut. Just talking with us. No, that's a joke, by the way. But no, everything's going great on my end. How about you, man?
Man, yeah, same, man. I could complain, but it really wouldn't do no good. But no, I mean, life is blessed to be stressed, is what I like to
Absolutely.
say. And juggling the marriage, which I don't have a kid yet, but juggling that with work, with the podcast, with my love of Tennessee, which honestly, that probably is a lot higher than what I just listed it out as. Anyway, we won't get too deep into that, but no, man, we got a lot to talk about. But before we get too far into the show, I do want to let you guys know who our presenting sponsor is, and that is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company. So he started his own agency where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Give them a call at 865-272-3387. Again, guys, Chris isn't the agent that's just going to find you the best price, right? I understand price is a lot when it comes to insurance, but he's also going to find you the best coverage because especially in the industry that I work in, it's not really an if, it's a when something goes wrong. You don't have to sit there and worry about what's covered and what's not with Chris. He's going to make sure you're properly insured so that all that stress is out the window when things go south. Thank you, Chris, so much for your continued support of the Vol Fanatics Show. Michael, yeah, man, I guess we're going to go straight into the tight ends. But before we do that, before we really get into that segment, do you kind of want to do the spill on obviously the hot topic around Knoxville here the last week or so?
Let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it.
Boo Carter.
Yeah.
What do you know about Boo Carter, the whole situation is going on right now?
So what I know is that something's up. That's not hard to figure out. But here's where it's frustrating is nobody wants to talk about it. They just know something's wrong in the room. Shows me that he's not committed 100%. I do know that there's been off-season practice and workouts that he's not been fully bought into. In fact, he's missed some or shown up late to several workouts. It just seems like the kid's not really bought in, which is not what you want to hear a week away from the start of fall camp. Talking about a guy that you had to go through all kinds of renegotiations to get him to come back, which I've already drawn that off as this is today's age of college football. You got to do that with all your key players. But I mean, a guy that you had to convince that you would allow him to play on both sides of the ball. And now we're pulling this. I don't know what is being pulled. Nobody wants to talk about it, but clearly the kid's not 100% bought in and something's got to change.
Yeah, absolutely. And, a funny story about all this. So this is why you have to do fact checking before you come on. So I was scrolling through Twitter earlier and I came across a post that I thought was the official On3 website. Turns out it was a parody account called No3. And it was this whole thing about how Boo Carter has left Tennessee and is joining Colorado. And of course, my first flag should have been, well, he can't leave Tennessee and join Colorado today because the transfer portal is not, in. The transfer portal is closed right now, so he can't do that. But when I saw that, my first thought was, oh, what a topic we have tonight for the podcast.
That's right.
But then I did my digging and realized, oh, this is just a parody account. But yeah, something is going on there. And it is frustrating that people won't talk about it because obviously people like us want the content. We want to be able to talk about it.
That's right.
What's going on. But, it is something that I feel like does need to be more closed doors type thing as far as the team itself goes. So I do respect that they're doing it that way. But yeah, Boo Carter is not, fully bought in is what it seems like. I know there's been different reports. Don't know what is rumors, what is fact. There's been reports that he's just been going around with buddies from high school. There has been some police type, criminal type rumors. Don't know if
I don't think
or not. I know there was a post that his mom was out in California. I don't know if he went with her or not. Different things like that. But bottom line is he's not fully bought in at this moment, and that is an issue, especially considering what happened back in the spring with Nico.
that's right.
And it's
which I think is what makes this more even puzzling. Why would you do this to yourself when you literally watched a teammate? And again, I don't even know if it's a renegotiation tactic. I think the kid's got commitment issues. I mean, you've seen him bounce in high school. I think he played
high schools in 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was 3 high schools, 4 years, maybe. I don't know. It was. Yeah. I mean, he bounces around, and I get that. But like, here's what doesn't make much sense to me, and this is a fact. He's either playing at Tennessee this fall, or he's not playing at all. So if he wants to play football this year, he better lock in and get ready to go. And I do think,
especially considering the fact that with all these renegotiations, part of that renegotiation is you're going to get to play both sides of the ball, or you're at least going to be given the shot to do that. And to be able to do that, you've got to be not just locked in. You've got to be spending more time in the film room and on the practice field than anybody else. And right now, he's not doing that.
Yeah. So moving forward, I think I'd like to see the coaches kind of give him an ultimatum, because I don't think the goal here is to just kick him off. I think there's certain situations with certain kids that should be like this is not a. I've seen some people say kick them off the team. Nobody's bigger than the team. Like, I get that, but I don't think that's what's going on here. What I would like to see them do is kind of what they did with Jawan Jennings back in the day when he got let go of the team, and then under a new coaching staff, they gave him basically a list of things to do to prove that he was ready to come back and show to the team that he truly wants to be back. And that was a list of things, whether that was get his grades up, do some things off schedule that kind of show that he's going over and beyond to be bought back in. And I think that's something that if Boo Carter is going to be playing this fall, maybe something that he does, whether that's workouts, 2 days when maybe the team's only scheduled to do one, whatever that is, to show that his team, to show his teammates that, hey, sorry guys, I kind of lost my way there in the summer, which most kids do, right? It's the time of year that's the most boring. So then kids kind of get into things that they probably shouldn't because they don't know what else to do. But I do think that if the coaching staff can do that and Boo can prove that he's bought in, I'm okay with him staying on the team. Like, I want him to be on the team. I think he's a vital piece of this defense more than anything. And I just hate to hear that he's not bought in. I don't know why. I mean, the kid grew up Tennessee. He's a local kid. Like, I would feel like he's at his dream school. Even if there's tampering going on, which has been reported allegedly, I don't see why he would throw that away for this year. Because, I mean, like I said, if he's not playing at Tennessee, he can't play anywhere this fall. He wouldn't be able to enroll quick enough. There's no shot. So, no,
I mean, he's already enrolled at Tennessee because to be in to be able to even play football, he's got to be enrolled at the school. So he's already enrolled at Tennessee, and as I already mentioned, transfer portal is not open, so he can't just leave and play anywhere. He would have to sit out the entire year at Skylar.
He would have to sit out, even if it was. And one person said if he went outside the conference, he could still play. But that's that's not. Nope. He would not be able to play at all this year. He would have to redshirt, and technically he still keeps all of his eligibility, sure, but he would have to sit out a year. And I just don't think that's him. I don't think Boo wants to sit a year. Period. It's not when he's an every down starter for Tennessee, a Division I SEC school that has high expectations, albeit. Coming out of media days, they were kind of low in Tennessee, but I think the coaching staff and the players at Tennessee still believe they belong in the playoff conversation, as they should be. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of smoked mirrors here. Nobody wants to talk about it, which kind of scares me as a fan. But I also know that I'm not going to give the player the benefit of the doubt anymore in a situation like this, right? When I first heard the Nico news break, I played it off nonchalant. Like, there's no way that kid.
I gave Nico the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I was like, that kid's a star of our team. Like, even if he wants a little bit of money, whatever, like, we're going to give it to him because the dude literally is the star. I mean, I was expecting a Heisman type season this year. And then lo and behold, that wasn't enough for him. He still dipped. So after that happened, where I kind of said this earlier on another message board, where they were giving Boo the benefit, basically saying like, hey, let's not talk about it unless we hear something. And I do agree with that.
Yep.
But just as well as I do, if there's smoke, a lot of times there's probably fire. And in this situation, it does kind of seem like that. But we'll keep playing, the patient game, and we'll go from there. And John comes in on Facebook, says he's going to be Nico's water boy for a year at UCLA. Heard he's in Cali. Yeah, man. I think that's dumb. But then again, the reports while they were being recruited is that him and Jordan Seaton were very close in the recruitment. So there's been a lot of links to him going to Colorado.
Yeah.
So if he leaves, he probably is going somewhere West Coast. But again, he would have to sit the entire year. I just don't think that's in Boo's cards. I don't know. We'll see. I would like to see this kind of get all behind us because I do want the storylines come next week to all be about the kids that are here and that are bought in and that are ready to go play the game. And that's what college ball is supposed to be about.
Yeah, and here's one thing that Skylar and I are not going to do. We're not going to sit here and speculate on things.
No,
we're not going to give you
negative. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not going to give you false information. We're going to give you what we know, and that's as far as we're going to go with it. No, we'll talk about it for the content, but also we want to deliver this to you guys. But we're not going to sit here. We didn't do it with the Nico situation. We're not going to speculate that this is happening, or we're not going to say, well, I think that this is what's going to happen. This is what they need to do, yada, yada, yada. We're not going to do that.
Everything that I've said has been reported by VolQuest and the folks at The Sports Animal. If you listen to those guys, that's all I did was report that. I'm a fan. I'm not an insider. I'm not going to give you breaking news. I'm going to give you what I've heard, and that's exactly what I've done. Now, as far as like my opinion on how the school should move forward, yeah, I did lay that out, but that's not something, I don't know, that's not necessarily a fact or anything. Like, I just want to see this team give the kid a shot. If it's just like an attitude adjustment thing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, kids come from different backgrounds. Not everybody's wired the same. Like, I do believe that some kids deserve a second chance to act better, right? If it's an acting problem, if he's not mature enough, these kids, still a kid, bro. Like, grow up a little bit. Like, give him that chance to grow up rather than just kicking him off the team because he won't show up to a practice. But like I said, we don't know. I mean, nobody's talking about it, which makes me think he's kind of got a foot out the door. But until we know for sure, we will not report it. Like my man Michael said.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this show, and we'll start with our segment one sponsor. That is Optimal Asbestos Services. Optimal Asbestos Services offers detailed asbestos inspections and air quality assessments. Whether you're looking to secure your home or workplace, you can trust Optimal Asbestos Services to deliver thorough and reliable solutions. You can contact Jeff Mull at 865-223-3297 for your consultation today, or go on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So we are talking the tight end position group for the 2025 season. And, we would be remiss not to start off with obviously the leader of this, not just the tight end room, but one of the leaders of this team, period. And that is senior Miles Kitselman. Obviously he's coming off of injury. He had surgery this past year. What was it, on his pec? Something like that.
Are you asking me? Because I do not know. I'll be honest with you.
I kind of think it was a pec surgery or some sort of injury there that he had, but he's still recovering from it.
You can fact check us on that one because I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. That's something that we are not 100% certain on. Probably should have checked before coming on, but anyway, he is a senior this year. The transfer from Alabama had I wouldn't consider breakout season last year, but a surprising season, because coming into last year, did we not say that it was Notre Dame transfer? Oh man, what is his name?
I
can't remember.
Yeah, I said it last week.
Yeah.
Why would you do this to me? I'm trying to write down notes. Yeah, skip it. I know, like I see his face right now, but I cannot.
Yeah.
It's
gonna bother me.
Bad for radio.
So I'm gonna go back to 2024 roster real quick, and I'm going to figure this out because it is gonna bother me.
Ethan Davis and number.
I can see him right now. Let's see, tight end. Holden Stays. Yes, Holden Stays.
I knew that. I don't know why I blanked so hard, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, thank you so much.
You can tell that we're live. So
yeah.
But yeah, we thought coming into last year, the tight end group, it was going to be number 1, Holden Stays, number 2, Ethan Davis, and number 3, it was going to be Miles Kitselman.
He was the third string from Alabama. You didn't expect him to come in and kind of be the leader of the room, right?
Yeah. And did it not just completely flip? Like Ethan Davis was still kind of that number 2, and it was Miles Kitselman at number 1, Holden Stays at number 3, was it not?
Yeah, not a great route runner Holden Stays was, but he was a really good blocker. But you see Miles Kitselman, I think, really come alive. Dude, his Kentucky game was insane.
Yeah.
I think it was like the first quarter, maybe even the first drive, the dude had like 70 yards receiving right off the bat on 2 massive plays, and he just added to that, and then he kind of took that role and grew with it. And his family's awesome. And I'm only saying that because I've seen him. His family shows up and supports. If you go to a game, and I think the father always wears like the Summit blue jersey, and it's number 87, and it's got Kitselman on the back. But his whole family's sitting there. They're all sporting him. And Miles Kitselman took that room by surprise for sure. And then obviously got that granted year of eligibility for this year. And I think he's going to run with it. Now, to our point, I do think Ethan Davis is going to take a step. I think this is his year.
Does he not have to this year?
I think he has to, because I think he knows next year he should be the guy. But
he should be, yeah.
This room isn't that deep, but should be fine for this year, especially with Kit's coming back. But yes, we talked about Ethan Davis, and then who's that 3 guy? Who is that 3 guy? Now we got a couple of freshmen.
Two-way battle.
I was gonna say we got a couple of freshmen. And Deshaun Brame and Jack Van Dorseyler. But I don't know. We got Cole Harrison, who's a redshirt freshman as well. So I don't know. Like, who do you think? Because I think that's going to be something interesting to see how that plays out in the fall, is who really steps up to be that 3rd guy in the rotation, which, as we've seen, this offense is going to play 3 deep at the tight end position, even with Kitts being far and away probably your number 1. I don't know. Who do you think takes a step in the fall?
I think that it's going to be Deshaun Brame. I think that he's going to take that little step forward to just edge out that number 3 spot. But, I feel like especially in the first 2 weeks of the season, you're kind of going to see a rotation. You're going to see, when they put that 3rd string tight end in, Deshaun Brame's going to get some time. And then you're going to see Jack Van Dorseyler get some time as well. But I think right now Deshaun Brame is going to take that slight step forward and this is just my opinion. This is not me looking into the insider information from Vols. They hadn't even started fall camp yet. So we don't know who's going to step forward and be that next guy yet. This is just me speculating. I think Deshaun Brame is going to take that step forward and be that third string guy. And, honestly, if Miles Kitselman is not 100% by the time week 1 rolls around, he might not even play against Syracuse. And you might see Ethan Davis be that number 1 spot. And then you're really going to see who's going to take that step forward to be the number 3 when Kitselman comes back between Jack Van Dorselaer and Deshaun Brame.
Yeah, right on. And I mean, you've seen Ethan Davis start out hot last year too. So I ain't totally worried about that. Ethan Davis caught a touchdown pass in game 1 last year to start things off, which I got excited. I thought, because you've seen the connections their true freshman year in the spring game between Ethan Davis and I'm going to say it, but Nico. I thought they were going to be a great paired tandem there at the tight end quarterback position. Obviously didn't really pan out last year. And now Nico's no longer there. Maybe that's a good thing for Ethan Davis. Who knows? I know Ethan Davis needed to work on his pass pro, his blocking.
Yep.
And if he takes a step forward this offseason, which I think he has, then you can see Ethan Davis out there in 12 personnel quite a bit. So, yeah, as far as that third spot, I kind of agree with you. I think Deshaun Brame is going to take that spot, and JVD may take a red shirt, take that time to grow, learn underneath, and figure it out. But as of right now, they're absolutely in a battle for that third spot in that rotation. And
So overall thoughts on this room, because I know you've already mentioned it that this isn't necessarily a very deep room, but what are your thoughts on this room? Because me personally, I'll give my thoughts on it first. I love the tight end room. It's not particularly deep, and it's not experienced per se. You've got Miles Kitselman, who's a 5th-year senior this year. You got Ethan Davis, who's a redshirt sophomore.
Who's got some playing time? In my opinion.
Both of them have playing time. Kitselman more than Davis. So I like those two. But when it comes to the overall talent that Tennessee's got in this tight end room, granted, unproven talent, I love this tight end room. And I think that, no matter who is that 3 spot this year, who ends up being the 4 spot, I think no matter who's going to be on the field, you're going to get production from the tight end room this year. And not just because of what the tight ends are going to do, but I think whoever your quarterback is, whether that be Joey Aguilar, George McIntyre, or Jake Merklinger, they're going to involve the tight end room a little bit more than what we've seen in the last 2 seasons from Joe Milton and from Nico Iamaleava. So I absolutely love this tight end room this season.
Right on. I don't know if I'm going to say love. I think it's a healthy room. I think you know exactly what your depth is. You know exactly where the pecking order lies. There's no competition on who's getting first and second reps. You kind of, I don't know. I just think it's a healthy room. I think you've got your number 1, you've got your number 2, and then you've got a healthy competition for number 3 against freshmen, which in my opinion, that's how it should be. And then going into next year, you kind of already got that cycle of exactly where everybody lies going into the season. So I'm going to use the term healthy, and I don't necessarily mean that as in player health. I more mean that you've got the right ingredients of the room. You've got Miles Kitselman, who's far and away the vocal leader in that room. He was at media days. And so you've got Miles Kitselman in there. You got Ethan Davis, who I think is a star in the making. And then, who knows after that? But in today's world of college football, you got 2 guys that I trust. I do trust Ethan Davis.
Yep.
I trust Miles Kitselman. If one goes down, sure, we're a little weaker for sure, and especially in the experience factor in there for the freshmen. But I don't know. I like the health of this room between chemistry, between maturity, and between skill. I think this room has everything you need to get it done this year in the fall to help whoever is our quarterback. It's going to be their first year, regardless of who our quarterback is, going to be their first year in SEC Division I type ball. And they're going to need all the help they can get. And their tight end is their best friend, right? So got to have that in this room.
And, something else that I feel comfortable with this year because of my love for this tight end room, we saw a little bit last year of the 22 personnel where you got 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers out there? Or is it 21 where you got
2 running backs and 2 tight ends, I think. But yeah.
Okay. or maybe I'm thinking 21 personnel, where it's 2 tight ends, 1 running back.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw some of that last year. Granted, more because you had to rely on the run game more than you really wanted to. I think that we could see 21 personnel a little bit more get involved with the passing game, putting Miles Kitselman and Ethan Davis both in at the same time, and not
Yeah.
just a run game off of it.
Yeah, I could see it.
And you've got so many different options off of that. You can run the ball. You've got 2 different tight ends that are athletic enough that can play like a wide receiver to make plays, and then you're still going to have 2 wide receivers out there that can make plays as well. Now, that's obviously not something that Heupel and Halsley want to do very much, because they want to have their 3 wide receivers out there. They want to have the slot receiver, your 2 outside wide receivers, 1 tight end, and then your running back in there. They want to have that, so you've got the options. But I think that you absolutely can see some 21 personnel this year where you have 2 tight ends in the game at the same time, getting involved in the passing game too.
Right on. You heard it here. Tight end room looks all right. I mean, Michael says that he loves the room. I think that it's a healthy room going into this season, which again, we're only 5.5 weeks away. I think, again, going to say this with every single position preview. You want to stay healthy. Somebody's going to go down. But how does the room pick up when somebody goes down? I think this room is built to be able to do that better than almost any position group that we talk about. I think even with the freshmen that have that lack of experience, I think they've got the skill. I mean, these 2 guys were highly 4-star tight ends recruited. They came to Tennessee for a reason. And I mean, look, I love where Heupel is going with this program, because you're starting to see some of the old traditional values of Tennessee come back to life. I mean, defense, we can't state it more enough, and how Heupel said it over and over again, that defense got to be elite in Knoxville, and you're seeing that. I think another thing that's got to be elite's running backs, and we've seen that the last couple of years. Have several running backs taken in the draft or signed as undrafted free agency. Shout out to Jabari Small getting signed last year. Jalen Wright got signed. Dylan Sampson got drafted. Jalen Wright got drafted, actually. So like, you're seeing the running backs, you're seeing the defense become elite, and then tight ends, wide receivers. I think people forget that Tennessee's got the 3rd most drafted wide receivers in the league, which I think I forgot that. So getting back to what got you there, and then again, regardless who the quarterback is, we're going to do that preview down the road, probably the last preview that we do. I trust Heupel. Like, whatever. I mean, just give me a guy and let's go play some ball. So, I think the tight end is going to definitely help whoever it is, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And my last question for this tight end room: do you think we see one of these guys step forward into more of a athlete type role that a guy like Princeton Fant played in the 2022 season? Because that was something that really made Tennessee dynamic in that season. Was obviously everybody thinks about the what was it, the UT Martin game where he threw for a touchdown?
He did throw one to Jalen Hyatt. Yeah.
He caught a touchdown, and he didn't catch a touchdown in that game, but he ran for one. He threw one. He was just shy of the cycle there, or the quote unquote triple crown, by catching a touchdown too. But are we gonna see a guy this season that might end up playing that type of a role, to where he's dynamic enough to you can put him in at fullback, like what they did with Princeton Fant numerous times, and get a couple of yards when needed. He can also go out and make numerous plays through the air, catching the ball, but also he's a dynamic run and pass blocker. I'm not going to say that you're going to have a guy go out there and throw a touchdown pass too, because that's something that you just don't see every day. But I'm curious if we're going to see a guy that will step forward into that type of role to be a dynamic player like Princeton Fant was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to see that this year, but if you are, it's going to be Miles Kitselman, because he is old and mature enough to do that. Princeton Fant was like a 5th-year dude when he was doing that. And so I think in order for Heupel to put his trust in a guy like that, it's going to be Miles Kitselman. But no, I don't think there's anybody outside of that you're going to see kind of have like those special plays be made for them. Now, in saying that, I would love for this offense to get back to some of those special plays. I felt like we kind of lost that last year. So it'd be nice to have that creativity in the offense going into this year. Bring back some of the trick plays, maybe even trick plays that you don't even need, but just to throw it in there to put it on film and kind of bring back some of that excitement. I mean,
Yeah,
look,
last year did it not seem like basically the only trick play that we saw was the shovel pass to Dylan Sampson that teams caught on pretty quick about.
yeah, I wouldn't even call that a trick play because that shovel pass is the exact same shovel pass we ran in the 22 Alabama game to get the extra point or the 2-point conversion. Like, it wasn't a trick play. That's just a play that they run that when they come out of shotgun, not everybody really expects. I don't know. Like, no, that's not a trick play. They completely got away from it. But like the 23 year, I guess, wasn't even that creative. So, I mean, but the 22 year, I think about like the Missouri, the South Carolina game, like the South Carolina play when we wore the dark unis with the white helmet. And you seen like,
that was a 21 year. Yeah. I
or
know
21 year where, yeah, I don't want to really think about the 22 South Carolina. 21 year, you had a really awesome design play where Hendon Hooker took the snap in shotgun and kind of rolled out to the right like a sweep, like an option play, and then plant his foot and throw it over the top of the defense. I thought that was such a nice play that we didn't run enough, in my opinion. And I would love to see a play like that get thrown back into the playbook because it's so effective. It's so effective with this offense, the way we utilize the quarterback run game or should utilize the quarterback run game, and the way that we're such a run-first offense to have a play like that where you can make the linebackers commit to the run and then just like as a quarterback, plant, stop, throw the ball over their head was an awesome play. I'd love to see some of that creativity come back. Maybe that's a Halsey thing, but like, not to be a negative Nancy, I think there's going to be changes in the coordinators after this year. This just, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be change. And I'm not necessarily even saying it's going to be Halsey, but I think changes are going to be made after this year. And I just hope that we met expectations and then we make some changes to further that. I hope it's not a 7-5, 8-4 year that we're kind of less some meat on the bone and then making some changes, because at that point I start questioning hype a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got anything else on the tight end group for this coming season?
No, I mean, we gave you the names that you should look out for in the fall, starting Thursday, I think, of next week. If not Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday actually next week. Starts fall camp, and we'll keep you updated as we are, especially on the Boo Carter situation too, and see if he's out there for practice and see if he's locked in. As of right now, he's still part of the team. He's still there. So we'll keep you guys updated as we are.
Yeah. So before we move on to our next segment, you guys see the title here. Some exciting news for the upcoming season. So
this kind of shook me a little bit.
So there is some news that I'm going to give you guys tonight, but there's some other news I'm just going to kind of tease that we're not going to put out yet because it's not confirmed. So the news that we're putting out tonight, fan favorite, Jake Arnold is coming back with us this year. Raking with Jake is coming back for a second season.
That's right.
Yeah, Jake said that he was all on board with doing it. He had a fun time last year, as we did as well. So we're looking into the details as far as what exactly we want to do with that segment. So we're trying to figure that out. But Jake will be back with us this season, and with that segment comes a little extra something that I'm just kind of gonna tease for you guys. So I will say we have potentially, not 100%, but it's a little over 50% right now, got a new sponsor.
60-40, it's just
maybe
we're leaning in the right direction.
Yes, we absolutely are. So I will tell you this much. Skylar and I, the reason we moved up the podcast last week to Wednesday night instead of Thursday night is we had a meeting with a potential sponsor for the show for this season and hopefully going forward.
In Music City.
Yeah, it was in Music City.
Downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
And yes, the traffic is still just as bad. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
No.
I will say the meeting went very well. But we're still waiting on confirmation on some things, some emails, going through fine print and things. But that sponsor would sponsor the Raking with Jake segment.
That's right.
as well as, other things on the show. That's as far as I'm going to go with it right now until we get confirmation. But a huge
I'll add some
tease.
details that's completely useless, but like if I'd have known they were picking up the tab beforehand, so shout out to those guys, I would have definitely ran up that tab just a little bit more. Your boy ordered a water. That was about it. I should have definitely rethought my decisions going into that meeting, but the mind was clear. We were focused, and about halfway in, they were like, "Oh, we got it," and I'm like, "Oh." Well, in that case, no, I'm joking. I don't know. I would have rethought my decisions there, but it's fine.
Order that $160 Wagyu steak,
Oh, absolutely. Dude, that would have been just the appetizer. Like I'd have
man.
dessert, drinks on the house. Like, no, I'm joking. The guys were fantastic, and we'll name drop them as soon as we get that. Really, we're just waiting on an email, and as soon as we get that email with the confirmation, basically them sending us a logo and what they like us to say about them on the show every week, then we're ready to rock and roll with those guys, and I am looking forward to that because it just adds a little bit of more spot and official. Like it makes it more official on the picks, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a sponsor that we're proud of. I'm proud of because Michael actually seeked it. So congratulations to Michael. It's gonna be good, and y'all stay locked in. And as soon as we get that, I mean, you're not gonna miss it. As soon as we get that deal locked in, you're gonna see it right off the bat. So
yeah, absolutely. But that's the news. Main thing, Reckon with Jake is coming back, and so what are your thoughts?
Like 61% last year. Like, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, made us money last year. So just live here on the air, what are your thoughts about maybe having Jake do some picks with us this year?
I just don't want the show to really I'm a little insecure about that because I like the show to be about us, and I feel like Jake just takes over the show when he joins, and
that is a fair point. So.
Yeah, at this point we might as well just name the show Jake Arnold Show or whatever, and I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because I mean, what was it throughout the shows last year? We'd have 10, 12 viewers, but as soon as Jake came on, it just skyrocketed up to like 25 viewers.
Yep. People realized that he came on about, I don't know, at the time, if we went live at 6, he's probably getting on about 7:30 and everybody would just tune in then. It's fine. It's fine. I understand that y'all don't like us. That's fine. It's fine. No, but anything else before we move on to schedule predictions?
Now, let's go ahead and move on to schedule predictions. But before we do that, Skylar, do you want to give us our segment 2 sponsor?
Dude, you already know it's P&L Business Services. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at P&L Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Guys, again, these folks are here for when you need to stay focused on that excellent customer service that you provide, but maybe you feel like you're slacking on the receivables or the payroll or anything like that is kind of the headache of the business, the taxes, right? Let P&L take that over for you. Yes, it's an expense, but it's an expense that's well worth your time. So make sure you figure that out, juggle that out the right way. Keep your customer service top notch with P&L Business Services. And you can reach out to them online at pnlbusinessservices.com. We appreciate your continued support of segment 2. And that is where we're going to be talking about predictions on, what I say? We're doing Auburn or are we doing, we're doing Auburn first, right?
I was going to ask you. So if you say Auburn, we're going to do Auburn first.
We're doing Auburn first. Come on now. So Auburn's a funny team, and I'll be 100% honest with you. My minimum and maximum with this team is going to be probably one of my biggest. I know for you, it was like Oklahoma. For me, it's Auburn because I don't know. Like, I feel like the vibe at Auburn is okay, but like nothing in the offseason as far as like the future of
goes
this team
with that.
Yeah. Like, they picked up good pieces early last year for this year, but they've not picked up good pieces this year for next year. But we're not talking about next year. We're talking about this year. And I think Auburn's going to be okay for this year. I think. But like, man, they've lost so many recruits. I think right now they're ranked like 80th. They're last in the SEC in recruiting. They're getting beat by like so many group of 5 schools in the recruiting trail right now, which is not what you want to see as an Auburn fan or head coach. So like, I am very interested to see how this season goes. And I do think they were supposed to improve. But who knows? Maybe Hugh Freeze is checked out and ready to get that buyout money. I don't know, but that's what we're here. That's what we're going to talk about. And they don't start off with an easy one, man.
So before we get into this, I do want to apologize for whenever we did the Oklahoma one. I did mess up the last game of the schedule. Not that it affects my prediction any, but They actually play LSU in the last game of the season. I had them playing against Arkansas.
Yeah, you did. That actually changes mine a little bit, but it's fine.
Yeah. So
How did you
I
mess
do
that
I
up,
do want
bro?
to I do want to shout out. So I guess the previous schedule I did was I don't even remember who it was, but it was Arkansas was the
And you
last
just
game.
forgot to. Yeah, I got you.
I forgot to change it. So I do want to apologize for that. Shout out to the commenter on YouTube. Don't remember his name that commented on there. I did mess that up. I will admit to that. But as far as the rest of your comments, I stand by what I said through the entire thing. So y'all can check that video and look at the comment on there to see what I'm talking about. But anyway, Auburn.
You said I admit to that, but F y'all, I still stand by what I said.
Absolutely. Hey, if I didn't stand by what I said, I wouldn't come on here every week and
That's
put my
fair.
opinion
No,
out there.
as you should. But like, let's talk about some key pieces for Auburn. Man, who is their quarterback going into this year? Right? It's the Oklahoma transfer. I think Arnold, right? Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold, man.
He shouldn't be competing for that job. He better have that job. I don't know why you'd make a move like that and not have that job. So we're going to assume Jackson Arnold there. Now, they still have one, in my opinion, one of the better running backs in the SEC, right? Maybe. I'm blanking on the name there, but
it's not Robert Woodyard Jr., is it?
I don't think so. But he was kind of a baller last year. It was kind of like one of the steady pieces of the offense. I know they have a really good wide receiver core that, yes, I think was picked up a lot by the transfer portal. Defense was definitely something that left to be desired last year. But you look at their schedule, they don't start easy. They got Baylor. They've got to go to Texas A&M. They've got Georgia. They've got Alabama, as always. They've got at Arkansas. And, I hate to say this, but I'm going to give them their kudos. They got to go at Vanderbilt, which should be a home game for Auburn. But, Vanderbilt's a better team now. So, who knows?
I actually messed up the running back there. That Robert Woodard Jr. is a linebacker, but there's several running backs on this roster. You got senior Damari Austin from last year. You've got, going down the list here.
Sean, while you're doing that, says 2 toss-up games I can see here, in my opinion, is Oklahoma and Missouri games. And I think I agree with that. And I would even throw in a 3rd toss-up game in Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's very possible.
It's just you don't look at it like that because they're on the road at Texas A&M. And you do have higher expectations for A&M based on what they did last year. But I do think A&M could also be a toss-up game for Auburn if Auburn's going to achieve to the expectation that I think they should achieve at this year.
And here's why, I've been saying all offseason that I'm high on Auburn now. That's also before some of the other offseason stuff that I have heard from Hugh Freeze, from their recruiting class, this, that, and the other. But the reason I've been high on Auburn is because, you did pick up Jackson Arnold, who I think is a comparable quarterback that honestly just did not get his due diligence at Oklahoma. But then you look at the wide receiver room that was talented last year, but didn't have a quarterback that could get the ball to them in a decent way. I love Cam Coleman at wide receiver. He is a talented, he's going to be a sophomore this year.
I was thinking of Cam Coleman, and I don't know why I thought he was running back. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but Cam Coleman, a talented, very talented sophomore this year. He was good last year as a freshman, just I feel like wasn't recognized enough because he didn't get the ball enough from this quarterback. You also picked up a transfer from Georgia Tech, Eric Singleton Jr. at wide receiver. You've got sophomore Perry Thompson is another one on the list here. You've got some very good Horatio Fields, a senior wide receiver from Wake Forest. You've got some good wide receivers on this roster. I would even say borderline great wide receivers if given the chance. So I like the fact that they picked up Jackson Arnold, somebody that I think can be that guy at quarterback that Hugh Freeze is looking for. But will he is the question.
Well, here's my concern. You've seen him at Oklahoma with a terrible offensive line, and how did that go for him? So him going to Auburn, did his offensive line really improve?
That's a great question. But here's what I'll also say to counter that right there. He wasn't great with a bad offensive line at Oklahoma, but did the coaching staff really give him the chance to see what he could do later on down the year?
Well, and they humiliated him because he struggled against the best defense. Well, one of the better defenses in the country. I mean, I would say easily top 10 defense in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And pretty much got benched immediately. And I think that was wrong. I said that the moment that game was over with, is I think that the coaching staff did that kid wrong. I mean,
and it was proven in the next game when forget the kid's name, but the one that started after
Hawkins.
him. Yeah, Hawkins. In his next game, he came out and threw, what was it, 5 interceptions? I know for sure it was 3. And they brought Jackson Arnold back into the game.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Sean says, I'm waiting to put A&M there until after the Notre Dame game, but also some crazy crap happens in College Station. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's true. But no, with all that being said, Hugh Freeze, I've said it over and over. This is the year. If he doesn't make a vast improvement with all the moves that he's made this offseason, dude's collecting that buyout check and getting out of there. His seat's probably one of the warmer seats in the SEC. So I'm expecting things to be good or at least better for Auburn. But who knows? Michael, I'll go ahead and start it off, man. Yeah. They're at Baylor game 1. And I'll be honest with you. I don't think they get it done. I think they drop game 1 at Baylor. Baylor's a solid team. That's not a cupcake game, and they're going to Baylor to start the year. I think their head coach is one of the better coaches. They are still in the Big 12, right? Even with all the movement. So, no, I'm gonna give Baylor some skin there. But I think Auburn's a team that should get better as the season goes, even though they're playing a little bit tougher competition as the season goes. But Ball State, I do think is a win. Southern Alabama's a win. At Oklahoma, dude, this is what a game this would be. What a game this would be. I think Auburn's got a chance. I know Jackson Arnold would love to win. But I don't think it's in the cards. I think if Oklahoma lost to Auburn at home, Brent Venables would be out the door. So I'm going to give the L to Auburn, and that is me following my picks. I'm going to try my best to do that because I don't want to say that I have, let's say in this situation, I had Oklahoma losing, but in the other prediction, I had Oklahoma winning. Like, I don't want to mix it up because then that makes no sense. So in this situation, I had Oklahoma losing. I'm going to keep that. I had Oklahoma winning. I'm going to keep it that way. Auburn losing and dropping this game. At A&M. At A&M's no slouch. There's a lot of question marks to A&M's quarterback, who is a star in one night, and then has some maturing to do in the next night. He is going into the next season as the guy. But have you realized how many quarterbacks A&M has had that are actually decent quarterbacks, but for some reason, some way, they don't stick around? You realize how many starting quarterbacks this year are playing elsewhere that came from A&M is alarming. Like Max Johnson, Zach Calzada, Haynes King. I think there's one or two more that I'm missing, but like they all started their career at A&M, or at least had been to A&M at some point in their career, and for some reason couldn't get it worked out. So now A&M's relying on, I would say, a true sophomore or a redshirt freshman, but I think it's a true sophomore quarterback. And I'm gonna give Auburn the benefit of the doubt. I think they beat A&M to really help Hugh Freeze out to flip this season a little bit, to kind of give a little bit of more lust into that Georgia game. But I don't think it really helps them against Georgia. I think they do drop that game. And then Auburn versus Missouri is a really good game. I do think that Auburn drops this one as well. Missouri should beat Auburn, in my opinion. At Arkansas, I think, yes, I have a win for Auburn against Arkansas at Arkansas. So doing good on the road for the most part, except for the first month of the year. Kentucky is definitely a win. Kentucky's garbage. Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt. What do we think, Diego Magic?
Maybe. They
I got
Auburn.
Auburn. I got Auburn winning that one. Mercer is a win. And then out of Alabama, I mean, obviously, I got to give them a loss. But overall, 7-5 year. And I think that's enough, I think, for Hugh Freeze to keep his job when you think about it. But a swing game for sure is Baylor. I mean, this could be an 8-4 year if they can start out with a win at Baylor. Who knows? Maybe they can still win at Oklahoma. I think that would be such a cool story for Jackson Arnold too. So I'm gonna go my ceiling with this team. I'm gonna say is 9-3 because let's just say they do beat Baylor and Oklahoma. I do think those are two games they can get. Now that's obviously I think that's everything going right for this team is 9-3. I'm gonna say the floor though is they lose to A&M. They lose to Vanderbilt. And I'm going to go ahead and say it. Maybe they lose to Arkansas. So I've got their floor being, what is that? 4-8. So their floor for me is 4-8. Their ceiling is 9-3. And I understand that's a wide gap, but I think that's right because you don't even know. I mean, if they lose to Baylor, Oklahoma, and A&M, Georgia, Missouri, that would have them starting 2-5.
Yeah.
Is Hugh Freeze gone? The buyout in that team would, I mean, or not the buyout, but the buy-in on that team has to be out the window at that point. And so, like, they would probably at that point only get up for the Alabama game at the end of the year and give Alabama a run for the money just because. But they could be like a 3-8 team going into that game and try to make a run for it against Alabama. But I don't know. I could see this being a big swing year for Auburn. Obviously, for their fans, they're going to want it to be for the better. But I think for me, I'm gonna give them some credit against A&M and Arkansas, Vanderbilt, whatever. I think those are teams they should beat. If you're a fan, you expect to beat. But at Baylor to start the year is going to be tough, and then at Oklahoma is just going to be a storyline game. That to me, Oklahoma is such a coin flip. I'm not really sure how that's going to go. I just kind of went with my gut on that, and we'll see how that goes. I think I just gave it to the home team in that game. So yeah, Auburn I got 7-5, floor 4-8, and ceiling 9-3. Michael, what say you, big dog? Let me go through and actually do you a favor here and take off all my.
All right. I was actually just going through making sure that I wasn't doubling up on anybody as well. So yeah, I've said all off season that I am high on Auburn, and
Now you're retracting it. No,
well,
I'm joking.
So I still feel decent about Auburn, at least the way that the schedule should go. But, we'll see if the way that it should go actually goes with, what's going to happen this season. So starting off against Baylor, I don't really know what Baylor's got this year. I feel like I know what Auburn has got, but that road trip to Baylor is never easy. I'm going to go with a loss to Baylor.
Oh, me and you both feeling the same
season.
way, huh?
And this is one of those games that has flipped in my mind over the last couple of weeks. Just hearing what's coming out of that program right now. I had this game as a win as of just 2 weeks ago. But with some of the things that I have heard from media days, from other sources in and out of Auburn there, I don't feel as good about it now. So I've got a loss to Auburn or a loss to Baylor in week 1. Ball State in week 2, they're going to get a win in that one. Same thing against South Alabama. That's going to be a win. At Oklahoma in week 4, Jackson Arnold's return to Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. I've got Auburn going in and getting a win against Oklahoma. It's not going to be easy at all. It's never easy to win at Oklahoma. But I think Jackson Arnold is going to have something to play for in that game, and I think he's going to have the game of his life against his former team, and they're going to come out of Oklahoma with a win in that game. Texas A&M on September the 27th. I've got A&M winning that game. A&M is one of those teams that they're going to be tough this year. I like what I saw last year from Marcel Reed. I think he's going to take a step forward this year as well. Texas A&M has a chance to be a dark horse contender for the SEC this year and the college football playoffs. So I've got Texas A&M winning that game. Georgia, Auburn does get that one at home, and just kind of like the Iron Bowl, strange things happen in this game whenever you play at Auburn. But in this game, I do think that Georgia pulls out a close win. but we'll see what ends up happening when that game comes around. Auburn does have a bye week before that game. And Georgia, see, that's on October 11th. Georgia, the week before, has Kentucky, and the week before that has Alabama. So
I could see it. I mean, Auburn.
I could see it, yes.
I don't think Georgia's the powerhouse, man. I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Mostly because half their starting defense is getting arrested left and right. But I mean, really, I don't know if I'm a believer in Gunnar Stockton. I know Kirby is.
I'm not either.
I know Kirby is, and I gotta trust what Kirby believes. I mean, dude, that he's one of the best coach. He is the best coach right now, active. So if he trusts him, I gotta think that he's gonna be good. But I just don't think he's gonna be elite in any way. And I'm sorry, but I know you can kind of say, well, Stetson Bennett. Well, I think Stetson Bennett was good. Like, I don't care what he was or what he was thought of when he went there. Stetson Bennett on the field was a dang good player. And so, I mean, there's a reason why he was a back-to-back champion, or 2 of the 3 years. I think he was back-to-back. So
yeah, Stetson Bennett was back-to-back.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I'm sorry. This is your pick, not me.
Yeah. So, Missouri on October the 18th. I kind of put the reason why I suggested to Skylar we do Auburn and Missouri, this week. I've got them kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Overall.
But Missouri shouldn't be. If you look at
they shouldn't be.
Schedule,
absolutely not.
Yeah, but drinks is terrible. So, yeah, I got you.
And I think that the home field is going to play a bigger factor in this game than anything else, which is why I give the win to Auburn in this game. October the 25th at Arkansas. This is one of those games that, as of last week, I swapped. I had a win for Auburn against Arkansas in this game. And last week I came on and I said, Arkansas is going to beat Auburn. And I'm going to stick with that. I think that Hugh Freeze and Auburn travel to Arkansas and they pick up a loss in this game. Rounding out the end of the schedule here, you do have a couple of easier games and then the Iron Bowl to finish off. You get a win against Kentucky at home. I think you travel to Nashville and you get a win against Vanderbilt. Pavia Magic is not going to be there. Auburn will get a win in that game. Mercer, the tune-up for the Iron Bowl, you get a win there. So right now, going into the Iron Bowl, you were sitting at, 7-4 at this point. And what was your hot take back earlier? That Auburn will win the Iron Bowl this year?
And then I didn't follow up on that. Yeah, I did say that. I mean.
And you know what? I said I didn't feel like it was that much of a hot take because I think that it could absolutely happen. And this game is in Auburn.
I mean, I see it. I don't know. I think in the pick segment, I was just so fixated on, I'm giving Alabama that win. But yeah, I mean, I stand by it. So I guess maybe I need to change my prediction. But yeah, I mean, I did say that my hot take of the year, it was one of my top 5, right? And I said that Auburn's going to win the Iron Bowl.
But we also did say that, it was something we didn't necessarily have to agree with. It was just a hot take.
But I will say this, standing here right now, again, it's kind of like the Georgia game. I think Auburn's got the talent on the roster this year to do it. And I don't necessarily know who Alabama's quarterback's going to be. So, who knows?
Yeah. And the game, it is in Auburn. Strange things always happen there.
Well,
Auburn,
I was just about to say, it doesn't even have to make sense on paper, right?
Yeah. Alabama does not play well at Auburn. I mean, what was it? The
4th and 29 or something.
I was going to say, what was it? The 23 season, whenever Auburn nearly won, and then Jalen Milroe throws the 4th and 29, 21, whatever it was, to the back corner of the end zone to end up winning it.
That was stupid because that secured their spot in the playoff. That was so dumb. That was so dumb. What a play.
But I can't sit here today and say that Auburn is going to win that game.
No.
I can't. So I also have Auburn going 7-5.
Dude, we did it again. 7-5, 7-5, just different ways. Okay.
Yeah, we did. So 7-5. I'm gonna go with my floor first because unfortunately, I think that the floor could hit this season. But if it does, Hugh Freeze has got to be gone.
I mean, I think that is very possible.
So I think that you could lose that game to Oklahoma. That is without a doubt a toss-up game.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think you could lose to Oklahoma. You could lose to Missouri. Like I said, I've got them on the same wavelength there. I gave the home field advantage to Auburn in that one. So you could lose to Missouri. I think you could lose to Vanderbilt. I think you beat Kentucky no matter how bad you are.
Yeah, Kentucky's garbage.
Yeah. So,
If I can find a reason to say that on this podcast, I just want y'all to know that if I can say Kentucky's garbage, I will take every advantage to say that.
yeah, absolutely. So,
In fact, if y'all didn't know, Kentucky's garbage. Sorry. Go ahead.
So I've got the floor for Auburn this year at 4-8, and that's everything has got to go wrong for that to happen. But that definitely could happen. As far as the ceiling, if Auburn does what I at one time thought that they could, I think they can beat Baylor. I'm going to keep Texas A&M as a guaranteed loss. With that game being in College Station, I don't see them going into College Station and getting a win there. But I think because of the rivalry and because of where the game is played, you could beat Georgia. You could definitely beat Arkansas. And I think that you've got the talent. You could beat Alabama.
Ooh, ceiling 10-2 with the loss to no. Wait,
No,
what? You think
got
11-1?
I've got the absolute ceiling, but everything has to go right. And that's what I base my floor and ceiling off of. Everything has to go wrong and everything has to go right for the floor and the ceiling. If everything goes right, I think Auburn could go 11-1 this year.
They ain't got a roster going 11-1. But I applaud
agree. I agree.
I applaud your optimism.
Yeah, like I said, literally every single thing has got to go right. And I really don't think that can happen. No. I don't think that it can, but you know what? We see what
But you also don't want to say their ceiling's 9-3. They do go 11-1, and you're like, wow, I don't know. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
But I mean, strange things happen when you're playing at Jordan-Hare Stadium. I mean, you got the prayer at O'Hare that one year against Georgia. You got the kick 6 against Alabama. And it seems like every single year there's some sort of magic moment that happens whenever you play at Jordan-Hare Stadium. And, everything went right that season whenever all that stuff happened. Is that going to happen this year? I highly doubt it. But it could.
He's going to need it.
It definitely could. I'm leaning more towards the, if not 7-5, more like 6-6 type season once again from Hugh Freeze. I was saying at one point that I think 8-4 is more likely than 6-6. Now I'm leaning more towards 6-6 is more likely than 8-4 for this coming season for Auburn.
It really just depends on how they look against Baylor, man. I think their season, a swing game, and I hate to say that it's the first game of the year, but I think their swing game is Baylor. If they come out and beat Baylor to start the year, they're poised to go 8-4, 9-3. But if they don't start out with a win against Baylor, I think it could be in for a grinding type season where they really got to get to bowl eligibility or 7-5 or whatnot. So
if we take the Baylor game off the swing game radar there, what is your swing game? I've got a clear swing game.
If it's not Baylor, it's Oklahoma.
Yes, that's the answer.
Yeah, if it's not Baylor, it's Oklahoma. It's early in the year because you're kind of, and the reason why I have it so early for Auburn is because there's so many unknowns with this team and how they're going to click. So you got to figure out in that first month of games, like how are they going to play together and gel well together? And if they can win against Baylor and Oklahoma, then I do think this is a good team. They might still have 3 or 4 losses just because of their schedule. I mean, you got 8 at A&M, Georgia, Alabama. That could be 3 losses even with a good team. And then, but like I said, if you get that win against Baylor and Oklahoma, I mean, 9-3 is very possible. Very possible. Just got to beat the teams at that point. And if you beat Baylor and Oklahoma, then I have at most confidence you're going to beat Missouri, Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Like, that's not even a question at that point. So,
and that's the thing that I was getting at. I feel like that if you beat Oklahoma, you're going to beat Missouri. If you lose to Oklahoma, I'm almost going to chalk that Missouri game up as a loss too. I know it's at 2 different points in the scale.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's the way that things might go this year.
But here's why it's hard for me to
lose to Missouri.
Yeah, here's why it's hard for me to like guarantee. Like, if you beat this team, you must beat this team, because we look back at, and I get it, maybe it's just Tennessee guy in me, but like you look back last year and it's like we beat Alabama, lost to Arkansas. So it's kind of hard to like say because team X beat team Y doesn't necessarily mean that X beats Z. I don't know. It's just we'll see. That's what.
So Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. I wanted to hit this right here. Guess who has joined the show tonight, man?
It's our long-term OG Robert Mackenberg.
So for those of you that don't know, that might be newer viewers, Robert Mackenberg, he is from San Diego, California, and he has been a day one listener
It's good to
of
have
the
him
Vol
back.
Fanatics Show. Doesn't always get to join us live. It's been quite a while, actually, but he did say, long time since I've caught a live show. Been watching your recordings. With Auburn this season, I have no confidence that they will be any better than a 7-5 team with Freeze at the helm.
And look at us. We have them going 7-5.
Yeah. Robert, great to have you on tonight, man, with us. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come join us on.
Sorry you said that so long ago. We have to turn off the chat box to get to where we put on the W and L's. So we didn't see that very quick at all. But yeah, we appreciate you being here. And now it's talking about Missouri. So I guess we got to give the last segment 3 sponsor, Michael, if you would do the honors, and then we can talk about Missouri's prediction.
Yeah, it's our segment 3 sponsor. It is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at kaizenpainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So, Missouri. Anyway,
That a heads up? Is that like a?
no, it's just it's something I mentioned. Skeeter.
I was like, is that like a
all the time
foreshadow there? Is that like a?
No, anytime I talk with Skeeter, I'm like, Missouri. You mean Missouri? The team that shouldn't be in the SEC? No.
What do we have on? What do we have on Mizzou, man? What is the latest on? I mean, who's taking over quarterback? Who's taking over running back? Wide receivers? What is their? I think their defense is okay. Their D line's pretty good.
So I know they got the transfer quarterback from Penn State this year, Bo Pribula. That's more than likely going to be their starter. He's a grad transfer. I don't know how good he is.
I don't think he's that great, but we'll see. We'll find out.
I don't think he's that great either, because if he was, he would have been starting over what's his name at Penn State? Drew Aller.
Which I don't even think he's that good of a quarterback, but I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think he is either. But I do think that you've got some talented wide receivers coming up. You got junior Marquise Johnson that I think is going to step up this year.
Holy
Joshua
crap.
Manning.
Sorry to cut you. Can we just realize that they don't even go on the road?
Yeah, they don't go on the road
third Saturday in October.
18th. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
And yet I'm still gonna have Missouri going like god awful. I'm telling you. Give me 6-6.
Do not leave Columbia, Missouri.
Sean Carpenter said, "Give me 6-6." My boy, I feel that, dude. And what's crazy, if Drinks goes, even if it's 7-5, with this schedule where you don't even leave Missouri until Auburn
next season, he's on the hot seat.
Sam Horn or is that Bo?
It's Bo Pribula.
Sorry, I'm not, from Louisiana. I don't know how to, pronounce the EAUXE, whatever. I don't know. Bo Pribula will be the start. Yeah, Sam Horn. Sam Horn sounds very familiar. Where is he from?
Sam Horn is the one that started last year whenever Brady Cook got hurt.
That's why it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right.
Yeah, they did get transfer wide receiver from Mississippi State, Kevin Coleman Jr., and that dude, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him or not, but yeah, he's pretty good. I'm trying to find the running back that I was thinking of last week. So they've got a transfer running back from a JUCO, and it actually could be this guy right here, Ahmad Hardy from Louisiana Monroe. They're saying kind of reminds people of Cody Schrader as far as the path that he took. Now, will the production be there? That's yet to be determined. But I think that you've got a talented roster, granted an unproven roster. And how is that going to add in this year? The defense is going to be good. That's one of the things that Eli Drinkwitz has most years is a very comparable defense. Offensive line should be good. Where is the skill players going to be? That's the big question mark for me. But going ahead and getting started here, I think that Central Arkansas, first week of the season, that's going to be a win. Week 2, welcoming Kansas.
No, that was Kansas State. That was Kansas State last year.
Yeah, Kansas State, that was whenever they kicked the CC3.
I feel like Kansas is a decent team, though. Like they got a decent quarterback, mobile guy too, right? So like,
yeah, that'd
be a good test for the defense. I feel like his number's 4, but I can't remember his name.
The name is on the tip of my tongue, but I cannot for the life of me think of it right now.
It's fine. I don't care about like Kansas. I don't follow them at all.
I'm not big on that one.
But who you picking?
But anyway, so this is the first time that these two teams, who absolutely hate each other, by the way, have played since Missouri left the conference. What was that, back in 2012?
That's right.
How
we feeling?
Yeah, give me the win against Kansas. The home field advantage there for Missouri, I think, is going to kick in. Skeeter will be glad that I picked that one. He would probably kill me if I actually picked Kansas to win that game. So give me the win against Kansas. You've got Louisiana, UL Lafayette, as they're formerly known, in week 3. Give me a win in that game there. The Governor's Cup Trophy on November the 20th going against South Carolina. This game is in Como, but you know what? It's not going to matter. South Carolina's a good team this year.
Mm-hmm.
And South Carolina's going to come away with a win against Missouri in this game. Playing UMass once again. I feel like this is like 5 years straight that Missouri has played UMass. I guess they've got to have a guaranteed win somewhere on the schedule. They're going to get a win against UMass. Then their last home game in this 6-game homestand to start the season.
I mean, they only have 4 away games. That's crazy.
Yeah. So going up against Alabama. And if you remember what Alabama did to Missouri last year at Bryant-Denny Stadium, Missouri got blanked.
And it's going to happen again.
And not only that, Kalen DeBoer made sure that Missouri got blanked because Missouri started driving the ball late in the fourth quarter, got down to the goal line,
put the starting
defense back in to make sure Missouri did not score.
Dude, I've seen that on TikTok like 5 times this offseason where they just – it was like imagine being so petty and wanting the shutout so bad. You put the starters back in for a 4th and goal.
Yeah.
And they stopped them. So, yeah, that's going to be a win for Alabama.
So, Alabama's going to win that game. Auburn against Missouri. This game is at Jordan Hare Stadium. I already said I feel like these two teams are on the same wavelength there, but I give the home field advantage to Auburn, so that's why I think that Auburn wins the game, but I could absolutely see a win for Missouri in this contest. At Vanderbilt, I know Vanderbilt is better and Diego Pavia is a difference maker, but Vanderbilt is still Vanderbilt, man. And I can't sit here and say that Missouri, when they should come into Nashville and win, that they're going to lose to Vanderbilt. Although they almost did at home last year. Vanderbilt ended up missing a field goal that would have won it. Or at least tied the game, sent it to – that's what it was. It would have tied the game, sent it to a second overtime. But I've got Missouri winning this game. So starting off the season 5-3, going into the back half of this slate, and it's not an easy back half of the slate. Texas A&M in Como. I've got Texas A&M coming out of there. Sorry, wrong one. I've got Texas A&M coming out of there with a win. Mississippi State, that will be a win for Missouri in that one. Oklahoma, and this game is at Oklahoma. This is going to be a difficult game as well. But in my Oklahoma prediction, I did have Missouri winning the game, and that's what I'm going to stick with. I think Missouri gets a win against Oklahoma, finishing off the season against Arkansas.
Are we going 6-6?
Missouri drops that game against Arkansas last game of the season. So I have Missouri going 7-5 this year in a
No.
year that they probably should not go 7-5. There's some games that you should win that I just don't feel like they're going to pull out this year. So 7-5 is what I have Missouri going this year. The floor for this team, I think that you lose. I think you can lose to Kansas. That's a rivalry game, something that, as I mentioned, you have not played that game since you left the conference, since you left the Big 12. You could lose that game, put you down to 6-6. Vanderbilt could be a loss as well. So that puts you down to 5-7. And I think you could lose to Oklahoma as well. 4-8 on the season for the absolute floor for Missouri. As far as the ceiling goes, I'm not going to be crazy this year. Missouri is not going to be that good to where they can make the playoffs. I think that you can beat Auburn on the road, and I think you can beat Arkansas on the road. But as far as A&M, Alabama, South Carolina, I've got them as guaranteed losses. So floor for this team, 4-8. The ceiling is 9-3. I've got Missouri going 7-5 this season.
Right on. Don't worry about clearing the board. Don't worry about clearing the board. Don't worry about it. This is actually kind of funny. So Central Arkansas, that's a dub. Kansas, a dub. Louisiana, a dub. I agree. South Carolina, I actually also have as a loss. UMass is, of course, a win. Alabama is, of course, a loss. There's not really much to talk about there. South Carolina, I think, is just far and away better. Now, I trust their quarterback way more than I trust whoever ends up being the starter for Missouri. Here's where I do defer from you just a little bit. I think Auburn, let's see. I got a count here. I do think Auburn loses to Missouri. And then I think Missouri loses to Vanderbilt. So I switched that up. Mainly because I'm not really high on Missouri this year. Not even a little bit. But Vanderbilt, I do think they lose. And then Texas A&M, I think they lose. And then they finish the year with a win over Mississippi State. And then I think they lose to Oklahoma and to Arkansas. And that's how they finish the year 6-6. I mean, Sean called it. I think I agree with it. I think what we have here is a team that obviously starts the year 5-2 and then finishes 4-1.
So basically, they kind of do what they need to at the beginning of the season by winning, 4 of your first 6 home games, and the 2 games that you lose are the 2 of the bet who
That's
I
right.
think are going to be 2 of the top teams in the conference, teams that you
That's
should
right.
lose to.
That's right. That's right. And they even pick up the win on the road at Auburn. I do think that they start out decently. And then I just think Vanderbilt's going to get them. I think they almost had them last year, like you mentioned. I think Vanderbilt will get them. I think they lose to A&M, kind of like you said. South Carolina, Alabama, and A&M, they're just complete losses. Here's what I know, and this is what kind of plays into my schedule prediction. I don't think Missouri's deep or got depth and talent. So I think by the end of the year, they get through this. And even though it was kind of an okay schedule, I just think they fall off the end. Oklahoma is not a team you want to play at the end of the year, period. And I think Arkansas is just, they're going to find a way. Arkansas and Missouri is kind of it's a big rivalry. And so I think Arkansas finds a way with them being at home in a maybe a chilly game. Could be at night. Who knows? But I just think ultimately they lose to Oklahoma. Having back-to-back road games to end the year, I don't think super easy. But overall, I'm pretty confident in this prediction, other than maybe Vanderbilt. But I think the ceiling for this team is 8-4. And yeah, I said 8-4. I think again, they're guaranteed losses: South Carolina, Alabama, A&M.
And they're good. So what you're saying is they're gonna lose to one of those other 3 teams then,
Or Kansas.
Don't.
Yeah, they're gonna even if everything went right, they're losing to one of them. No shot. I don't think it's in the cards for Missouri to be that good. I don't think they got the talent. I don't think they got the depth. I don't think it's going to work. So I think their absolute best they're going to be is 8-4. And I think their floor could be, let's say they lose to Auburn and lose to Kansas. So I'm going to say their floor is 4-8 as well. So 4-8, to 8-4 with them going 6-6. That kind of seems cliche, I guess. I don't know, but I think that I abide by that. So there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. My Missouri picks. Aren't you so proud of me?
I am proud of you. So,
We almost, dude, if it wasn't for you picking, was it Oklahoma? Like, all I was going to have to do was swap Vandy and Auburn. And I was like, dude, we got the same thing. And then you picked Oklahoma. And I was like, dang. All right. So I got a third game to change. But overall, I thought it was kind of cool that we kind of thought the same on that schedule. And I'm glad we are different because I think we were on like a 3-game stretch or 3-team stretch where we were kind of picking the same thing. So,
yeah, I mean,
good.
hey, we've been like either the same record prediction or 1 game off,
Except for
each.
Oklahoma. Oklahoma, we were vastly different.
You
I had an
8-4.
8-4.
I had
an
5 and
8-4.
7 or 6 and 6.
Yeah, it was low. I don't know what you had, but it was low. It was a lot lower than I thought because, I mean, when you said you wanted to do Oklahoma as soon as you did, I was like, that's different than me. I was like, I got them kind of going good. And so Oklahoma, so far, I mean, as far as like who's going to prevail in the predictions when we do this recap at the end of the year, Oklahoma's going to be that swing team that depends on how they finish is going to really determine who probably wins between me and you on the preseason prediction segment.
And I'll be honest, before the last couple of weeks, Auburn was also going to be one of those teams.
Oh yeah.
I honestly,
I think I talked you out of that because I was like,
well, it was some of that, but it was also some of what I have personally seen.
Well, and you heard it media
and
days
heard,
too, right?
Yes,
yeah, you heard it media days.
I'll be totally honest. I had Auburn at one point, so I printed off this this full SEC schedule.
There you go.
Yeah, this was from the SEC Network website, and I just kind of went through one day, and I was like, this is kind of what I'm thinking. I kind of give a rough estimate of what I think the conference standings are going to be. And in this one right here, oh dang, I was very, very high on Auburn. I had them going 10-2.
Attaboy.
At one point.
They were definitely beating Alabama then.
Yeah, I had them beating Alabama. I had them losing to A&M and Georgia in back-to-back games. But I had them beating Alabama on that one. And now, today, now that I've done the predictions, 7-5 is where I have Auburn.
That's right.
So, yeah,
come down just a little bit.
Different. And this is over, like I said, 2 weeks that my thoughts have kind of changed on that. So, go to the comments here. So, let's see. Robert says Sam Horn didn't play last year. Okay, so that's right. He had Tommy John surgery due to a baseball injury. He was the backup quarterback for Mizzou in the 23 season behind Brady Cook. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Sean says only difference, Skylar, is I got him losing to Kansas and then beating Vandy.
Attaboy, Sean. And I don't even mind that. Like, I get that. And that's probably the right one. I literally said that my prediction I felt confident in other than the Vanderbilt game. So I agree with you, but I stand by my comment on the end of the year with the lack of depth and then them going on the back-to-back road game stretches and Oklahoma playing them on the road that late in the season is not a team you want to see on the road that late. I mean, ask Alabama. How did that go? And so, I stand by the fact that and so Sean, really, I agree with that. Like that honestly, that's probably the right answer. If they go 6-6, that's probably the way they do it. Robert says that he thinks that they go 8-4 with losses to South Carolina, Bama, A&M. He thinks the same way we do. And then Oklahoma. That road game at the end of the year is not going to be easy. So I completely agree with that. He says that Missouri always beats Vandy, which most teams do.
Yep.
And then Arkansas. Freeze will crap the bed versus Missouri. So basically saying that Auburn's gonna lose, obviously.
And you know what? I can totally get behind Robert's take here. I think that could happen.
And my 8-4 ceiling is literally that scenario.
Yeah.
Like that. So I agree with that 100%. I just think Diego Pavia is going to be better than whoever they put at quarterback from Missouri. Hate to say it like it's a quarterback thing, but like I don't really trust the defense on either side. For Vanderbilt's defense is god awful. Missouri's defense isn't great.
I trust Missouri's defense a lot more than I do Vanderbilt's.
I probably agree with that, but then you also have to say that Diego Pavia is better. So like even if they have a better defense, it's going to almost cancel out because Diego Pavia is a better quarterback. That I think this is a preseason prediction. So I mean, obviously we could be completely wrong, and it's part of doing preseason predictions is that you put yourself out there for vastly wrong opinions, which that's okay.
And there's always teams each year that we've done.
It's always a surprise team.
This is our third season doing this. It's only our second season doing actual preseason predictions on the show. as we did preseason predictions on TikTok that first year, because that's
right.
you know whatever we started the podcast. But there's always that one team that just completely screws it up as far as your predictions. And Missouri was that team last year that screwed it up for both of us. I think that's going to, but it very well could be. It could be them once again. Missouri is just a weird team. Sean says, regardless, I feel the bottom two teams in the SEC will be Arkansas and Kentucky. I totally agree with you as far as Kentucky goes, Sean. I disagree slightly with Arkansas. I don't think that they're going to be anywhere near.
It's Mississippi State, dude.
It's Mississippi State.
It's Kentucky and Mississippi State.
Yeah, they just don't have. Mississippi State does not have the dudes yet.
Although, in saying that, I feel like Mississippi State got the most room to grow.
Okay, I absolutely agree with that. I think they've got the most room to grow,
but I still think they're the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I'm not.
I honestly think Mississippi State could be below Kentucky, but I don't want to give Kentucky that type of warmth. I want them to. I want Kentucky fans to just be like, "Man, I need to get back to basketball season." I'll be like, "Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yep. Mark Pope, and then what? Cal? Who's the? No. Who's their? Mark Pope, Mark Stoops, but Mark Stoops is going to be gone. I don't know. I feel like what's John Calipari? They were talking about there was a coaching change. If Mark Stoops were to be replaced, it would be some guy named John. I can't remember like what school he'd be coming from, but it was kind of funny because they were like the first names just changed between basketball and football, so like they're still stuck with the Mark and John. It'd be funny though. I don't know. I don't like Kentucky. Kentucky's garbage.
All right, so
I didn't say that enough.
Looking to next week, I kind of want to hold off on our secondary position group just until we find out a little bit more about the Boo Carter situation. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm fine with that. So what route are you trying to go then?
Let's do special teams. Or do you just want to go back to back offense?
Let's go wide receivers.
All right, I'm fine with that. Yep, going wide receivers next week. And what two teams do we want to look at for schedule predictions?
That's a good idea because we're right now in the middle of the pack. We just did 7 teams, so I think our next team needs to be, drum roll please.
I was gonna say you pick one.
I think Florida. I think Florida's a safe pick for next week.
All right, so Florida. I'm going to say.
Go ahead. Thought you were making me pick both of them, but that's fine.
I'm going to say LSU.
Ooh, I kind of like it because they're predicted to finish like top 3 in the SEC this year. But if you have them, I mean, if you have them finishing like right dead in the middle, I don't think that's a good year for Brian Kelly. You sure you want to go LSU?
We can go a different route. So
you sure don't want to go A&M?
No, you pick them for this time because I did pick both of them for this last week. So Florida and A&M, you said.
Let me rethink this. Hang on. Florida and
I feel like it's.
I think A&M. I think
it's a complete toss up whenever you get to these teams.
I think I want to go A&M. I think LSU is going to be just slightly better than A&M.
All right, so Florida.
No, I think you're right. I don't know. LSU, Florida and LSU.
Florida and LSU.
I don't know.
Have a rivalry week.
To be honest with you, I really don't know. I just feel like Arkansas has a tougher. Sean, dude, we appreciate you being tuned in. Sorry, we're kind of having fun on the show tonight. Just feel like Arkansas has a tougher schedule than Mississippi State. I have to go back and look. Trying to watch football in the future wrestling. Dude, yes, dude. Sean and the wrestling opportunities, man. It's so cool to see you kind of do that. Of course, that probably is on Saturday, so you kind of miss a little bit of football. But Sean Carpenter, if y'all get the chance to kind of look him up on his Facebook page, does the wrestling thing. Legit trying to make it big. He's doing big things, and it's kind of fun to watch your little intro videos, man. It's pretty cool how you fire up the crowd and get them interested and to do your thing, man. It's so cool to see you do that. Been doing it for several years now, and he's getting a shot. He's got the big stage coming up here soon, so be sure to tune in on that. Sean, we appreciate you tuning in as always. And Yeah, we'll go LSU and Florida.
All right. So LSU and Florida for next week. Talking about wide
Brian Kelly getting
receivers.
fired. What?
Yeah.
Nah.
So Robert also tuned in talking about Missouri again. Missouri's defense will be solid this year. The question mark
I
is
agree.
offense.
I agree.
Quarterback, wide receivers, and running back is a crapshoot for them. I
I
agree as far as quarterback and wide receivers. As I said, I've heard about a running back that they picked up out of the portal that
Only as good as the offensive
reminds
line.
them. That's very true. Very true. Reminds them of Cody Schrader. Obviously, I don't think the output is going to be up to Cody Schrader because that'd be what SEC Player of the Year, like Cody Schrader was again.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get that kind of output from whoever it is, but I know they're very high on whoever their wide receiver is coming in this year.
That's right.
But yes, quarterback, wide receivers, they're absolutely going to be a question mark, and I'll agree with you on the running backs too, just because I'm not certain on them either.
I think we do wide receivers. I think we do the two teams, Florida and LSU. And who knows? Maybe we do a little bit of touching on the on fall camp. Oh, I have a little bit of a nugget. I have a kind of a surprise.
What you got?
I didn't even tell you this. I'm so excited. I didn't
hear
even
it.
know this was I didn't even know this was happening until about 2 hours ago. Your boy, co-host of the Vol Fanatics Show, has access to one of the fall camps practices coming up in August. So may get a little insider, but no, I'm joking. I'm just going as a fan, getting to check out one of the practices. So I think it'll be really cool to kind of see who's where. Maybe have some Boo Carter news. Who knows? But that's going to be the second week of August, and we'll be sure to keep you guys tuned in on that. But that's going to be my first official practice that I get to attend. I'm really excited about it.
So I know you say you're going as a fan, but with it being a fan this time, maybe next year going as a media member.
I mean,
maybe.
I mean, I'll have to drop that nugget while I'm there with Josh Hype. No, I'm joking. I won't even get to talk to him. But no, it's one of those things where I'm blessed to be where I'm at. My work's got the season tickets, whatnot, and so we got blessed to get the opportunity to go. And I wasn't passing it up. I mean, if my boss says, "Hey, I got tickets," I was like, "I'm going," and they're like, "Well, it's to Coldplay," and I'm like, "Never mind." Anyways. You didn't get that joke.
I did get the joke at the very end.
like-
I was just sitting there listening to what you said, and then when you said that and paused, I was like, "Oh, he's waiting on something." So no, I completely got that.
No.
I should have just hit away real quick.
You did. I was gonna say you did see the Coldplay concert.
I did.
I was like, come on, man. That got awkward there for a second.
Yeah, no.
If you're listening on
saw it.
podcast, y'all like the silence was so loud there for a second. I don't know.
I love how a bunch of the baseball stadiums, especially the Savannah Bananas, have just had fun with all that. Have the mascots put on the screen. They're just darting away. But yeah, Cody Schrader caused emotional damage when the Vols played him in 23. That name should be banned. That's a fair.
I'm not
point.
gonna hate. I'm not gonna hate on him. I mean, the kid's awesome. He's a good guy, and he stood forever. Like, I mean, I not that I see a lot of myself in him, but he gave folks like me hope that they can make it. I mean, the kid's like what 5'9". I mean, he was short. I'm 5'8", 5'7" and a half.
But nobody could bring him down.
Nobody could bring him down. Well, but he started small, right? I mean, he went to JUCO school, worked his way up. Eli gave him a shot. It's a really good story. And honestly, I don't think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he played really good against us, but
and started off at Missouri as a walk-on.
He did. And he did it the right way. Like I said, I'm one of those guys that, like, yes, I hate the way we played, but I'm not gonna dislike Cody Schrader because of it. I think he's a baller, and I think he's a great character and gave some folks kind of similar to my build, very short guy, right? Hope that they can make it in the big, because I mean, you hear it all the time once you get to high school. If you don't crack 6 foot tall, I mean, you're pretty much not even getting looked at these days. And so, it's pretty cool.
Unless you're Sky Ziegler, but
Even
then,
he actually didn't get looked at.
So.
I was about to say Tennessee was one of a few that went to one of his tournaments in the AAU and then got the love. Hey, Carnage Cup, October 25th. Oh, we got the plug there in McKenzie, Tennessee. Love y'all show and everyone who supports it. Hope to see as many people there as possible if anybody can make it. So the Carnage Cup, October 25th and 26th. Y'all be there.
So Sean, what I need you to do
Appreciate it.
is I need you to remind us of that as we get closer to time. We'll keep plugging it, try to get some listeners out there to watch you for that. So
McKenzie, Tennessee.
Yeah. So some bad football well, some good football, but some bad football memories as far as the Cornersville standpoint goes. Got a big win against Huntingdon out there, McKenzie, in one of the years that they went to state, but then also got just absolutely run off the field one season against Huntingdon. McKenzie also beat us a couple of times, but anyway, I digress. So
sounds like you're still carrying those losses pretty heavily, my guy.
No, not really.
Okay.
I didn't even play, so I was just the announcer. But a couple of things before we close out. So obviously, we are the official Tennessee member of the College Huddle. Make sure you do check out the College Huddle website. Check out the College Huddle YouTube page. A lot of good videos going up on the College Huddle right now with different people. There's also an SEC simulation. Our good friends from Gator Truth podcast, Daniel, and our friends from the Halls on the Hill podcast, Caleb, went on with Eric from the OHIO podcast, who is hosting the College Huddle channel, to do an SEC simulation. It's a little bit different, but check that out. It's a really cool video. It might frustrate you if you're a Tennessee fan, but it is what it is. Also check out our website, viewpoints.com. I've been working on a few articles, kind of spotlighting some players for this upcoming season. There's also an article on there about Jabbi Mashak, what he has done in the summer league this year as well. We're also on the YouTube page, up to 433 subscribers. We're on the road to 500. We would love to hit that before the season starts, but I know that is a tall task. But just do us a favor. If you're seeing this, please give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. It helps us out. It's not going to turn the show into some sort of money maker. We're not going to eventually charge for it. It's going to be completely free. That's all we want.
Dude, I get 10 cents for every 1,000 views. Come on, man. Let's go.
I mean, it's we're not going to get rich off of this, and that's not our goal. No. We're having fun with this, and if we ever don't have fun with it, then that's whenever we'll stop. But as long as we have fun with it, as long as you guys still watch us, we're going to do it. But just help us out by going over there, give a like on the video, subscribe, share the show as well. And Skylar, do you have anything else before we close out this episode?
Yeah, actually I do. But before I get to it, Robert, great talking to you guys again. Can't wait for college football to start. Keep up the great content. Man, I appreciate you, Robert, for being a believer and being there from day one. I do have one more thing. And you kind of touched on it. Like it's kind of hard to see all the expectations, right? This is talking season. And seeing Tennessee, I mean, like out of media days coming in 9th, right? In the polls out of 16, and seeing some of the I think that I like it. This is like the first season. This is the first season that we're expected by the media to be mid and even below mid. And that's like, I think Heupel needs to use it as fuel. This is a chance for him to outdo expectations, but like in a weird way in his mind, it's not really outdoing expectations in that room, because I full-heartedly believe that no matter who's playing at quarterback or whatever happens with Boo, this team still feels like they're a 10-2 college football playoff team that they should be thriving for. That's a floor, right? But the national media literally could not have a word to say about Tennessee because all they can think about is Nico leaving. I love this. If Heupel can find a way to go 9-3, 10-2, watch for him to be a national coach of the year, or at least SEC coach of the year candidate. And I think he'd be deserving of it. So I'm really looking forward to see how we do this year. And that is my final thought on the Vol Fanatics Show in this episode.
I can't end it any better than that. So guys, appreciate you tuning in tonight. And as always, go Big Orange.